Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Richard Moglen, and welcome back to another stock market outlook video sponsored by MarketSmith. As always, we're going to run through the major indexes, talk about the potential leading groups as of this moment, and at the very end of the video, I'll give you my overall take on the state of the market. So let me know your thoughts down below as we go. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about this market. How exposed are you right now? How much cash do you have in reserves? And what are you watching as well? What's basically the top 3 stocks on your watch list. So as we go, let me know your thoughts and make sure to go ahead and take the time right now to leave me a like down below and subscribe. It really helps me out and my channel. And let's go ahead and dive right in. So first things first, let's bring up the NASDAQ composite. That's a stock I'll talk about in just a second. We had a very strong week, retaking the 21 EMA, the 50 SMA as well. Many of the indexes look very similar to this. And we kind of broke through this range that we had been building, popping through that 21 EMA, and things look very promising, maybe short-term extended. I'd love to see maybe a retest of that 50 SMA and rebound upward, but the kind of equal weight NASDAQ and equal weight S&P 500 are faring much better because really the mega caps have been holding these indexes down. So constructive action for sure. I love how we've had a few kind of poor opens where we open down and recover strongly. And that happened once again late in the week. And we do have a pickup in volume with this constructive price action. So things are definitely taking a turn basically in the positive direction. We're not out of the woods yet, but there's definitely been some opportunities and some spots that you could have taken. And things are progressing nicely. And we'll just have to see how things continue, especially after a potential retest consolidation period in the market. Do we form another higher low and basically resolve upwards from that? Or do we see kind of breadth, take a step back and things kind of roll over? Right now, breadth is very strong. I know a lot of people were talking about that last week, and we'll just have to see if that continues to develop in a positive way. So that is the NASDAQ composite. Definitely good action. I'd love to see kind of a pause here right at this key level, as well as the 50 SMA, and maybe even a retest of that 21 EMA as well. And then for that to basically resolve upwards, that would be ideal. But we could easily, because this is potentially the start of a nice strong rally, just continue upward from here. And you basically have to pick your spots and manage risk in individual names, while the indexes may be extended early on in the move. But keep in mind that we've seen some strong moves in the past, and that's led to basically some chop and even some dramatic pullbacks here, breakdowns of ranges. So just because we've moved up high over the past 5 days doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. And you do have to manage risk tightly and basically practice progressive exposure. So with that, let's move on over to S&P 500. Excuse me, I'm still recovering from a little bit of a cold here, so bear with me. You can see that this is a little bit stronger. It's much higher versus these lows than the NASDAQ, and we had the kind of that same break above this range and strong action, strong closes as well, retaking that 200 SMA, which I'd love to see kind of flatten out and turn up as we progress higher and just kind of form higher lows. And continue to move higher through these pivots. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I wouldn't mind some consolidation once again right at this key level, and then see us kind of pop through that, basically go sideways, form a range, and then pop higher as well. So that is the S&P 500. Looking at the IWM, you can see that we're pushing through this 200 SMA strongly. And once again, I'd love to see some consolidation, a little bit of a handle, whatever you want to call this form, and then for this to resolve upwards, bring up the IWO. This looks very similar right at this key level as well. So it kind of be natural for this to, pull back, ideally on lower volume. I definitely don't want to see a dramatic decline through the 200 SMA, 50 SMA, 21 EMA confluence here on a pickup in volume. But I love to see kind of a gradual pullback, kind of correcting, over time versus by price. And then for this to resolve upwards through this level and start a potential new stage 2 uptrend. So promising action here, nice moves, some volume pickup as well. And we'll just have to see what happens. Bring up the FFTY. This also moved higher through the 21 EMA, still in a longer-term downtrend. And looking at the ARC ETF, very similar, but a little bit stronger through that 50 SMA as well. So strong action from the indexes and breadth in general. Leaders have been holding up better than the indexes, as I mentioned, over the past few weeks, because, the mega caps such as Google and Amazon and all of these were hit really hard. They were just in downtrends. Tesla especially was really, going through some pressure. This is going sideways now. And we'll have to see whether it can push through 21 EMA or gets rejected once again and just continues down. But these are rallying a little bit, and that's kind of lessening the pressure and allowing, those other leaders to take hold and show the strength in the index. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Once again, I want to stress, manage your risk, pick your spots, and make sure that you're executing on your edge and listening to feedback from the market. In terms of areas that are experiencing strength here, some potential leadership groups, biotech remains strong, building is pretty good, energy continues to be very, very strong, and solar is actually kind of back in favor here a little bit. Let me bring up ARI. This was an IPO a lot of people were watching back in here. It rallied strongly after this big reversal bar on volume. And once again, kind of short-term extended. I'd love to see some consolidation for a few days, and then you could buy it through a pivot, something like that. Or even, you know, on a gap down, strong close, an intraday setup. If you really want to position this name, that's a potential way to do it, but it's kind of at this big weekly level as well. I'll bring up FSLR, which is kind of the leader within this group. Super strong action, back into new all-time highs in just a few bars. You've got potentially a buy point here, but it didn't give you much of a spot if you missed right here on this reversal day, on this subtle gap up, but a nice pickup in volume as well. And other than that, you know, there's a few other areas, but those are kind of the main ones. Biotech by far is kind of the strongest. MDGL is a potential high type flag within this group. Super strong action, getting pretty tight. You know, I'd love to see, you know, one more contraction, then push higher through that 300 level. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's a very, you know, high risk momentum type setup, so keep that in mind. VRNA is another one that's been super powerful in the biotech space and pushed higher, gap up, and now going kind of tight. Semis have also been showing some strength. Let me bring up SMH. The med caps, you know, are lagging a little bit, but the names within the group and in the kind of related groups have been acting quite well. Super strong action through 200 SMA. AHR was the one that rallied extremely strongly after earnings, in the wick and out here as well. I'd love to see this base. I missed this, and just have to wait for consolidation and the next setup. But definitely an area to be watching. RMBS, this is one that Ross Haber was watching from the TL report. And I'd love to see, you know, one more inside day, a little bit of a handle form, and then a push through into new all-time highs. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts on the market. You know, my overall view is, you know, things are definitely progressing in a positive way. We saw a nice breadth increase. Leaders are acting well. Leadership is broadening a little bit as well. So kind of everything we like to see from a potential new uptrend. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see if this one sticks. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, go ahead and leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And let me know your thoughts as well on the market and individual names that you're watching. And I'll see you guys in future videos. Take care.